Oh, but yes, my word, definitely going to be an absolute cracking week. It's been quite a good weekend as well. Feeling a bit better now, at least. Oh, we've got some loose ponies by the looks of it. But we shall, as always, endeavour to crack on. That's probably why, because someone's left the gate open. But yes, good morning, everyone joining us. Like I say, come on in. Here's your morning pony. Shane, good morning to you from Ireland. Good morning. Like I say, got this little having his breakfast nice and early in the morning. But yes, been an interesting week. Like I say, unfortunately I didn't do a walk yesterday. You know when you come down with like one of those sore throats and it just makes you feel really bad? Helen, good morning to you. It just makes you feel really bad. It just brings you down. I sort of had one of those sort of Friday afternoon. It sort of came on and it got worse, and then by Friday night I was like, I was dying almost. Really like croaky and scratchy voice. It was awful. So I was like, I can't do it. So I was waiting to see if I would be all right this morning. I know I'm a lot better. Still a bit there, of course, but no, it's going. Loki's Children, good morning to you from Northumberland. Patrick H, good morning to you. Reagan Elite, good morning to you. Bakura as well, good morning to you. But no, good morning. And welcome to what is an absolutely fantastic good morning walk. Oh, hang on. Ooh, David, good morning to you as well. This is the bad thing about where it's so sunny. Because sometimes it's difficult to see the screen because I'm like, I can't see. Have you got any good betting tips? Well, we are now up to 4. We'll cover this because, my word, if you were Rishi Sunak and you were trying to say, please, Margaret Thatcher, in thy name and all that is holy, please save me from this impending Tory wipeout. No, you have angered the Thatcher and she has come down upon you, reigning with an angry, righteous fury. Although, you know, maybe it's the other way around. Maybe, you know, it's more a satanic fury that she brings upon Rishi Sunak. Because the last thing that you wanted, the last possible thing that you wanted, was a Tory corruption scandal breaking out while you're trying to campaign and remind everyone, oh, this is, you know, this is the Tory party at it once again. Yeah. Dear me. But we said it last week. How could things get worse? Well, we spoke too soon. We did indeed spoke too soon, and it almost feels like no matter how many times we say that, how possibly can it get worse? It gets worse. Oh, Attila, good morning to you. Patrick H trying to appease the spirit of Thatcher. Exactly. Reagan, I think Sunak at this point just wants to go to America already. It sure looks like it. It sure looks like it. But this whole betting scandal is just absolutely... It's just absolutely reminding people, once again, why they are so bad. So this all kicked off, I think it was a Times investigation. And I think they were looking into, or at least what seems to be, what was a story about how many people accurately predicted, a general election. And they found, actually, really suspiciously, a day before the general election was called, there was a big rise in people taking bets out who suspiciously got it right. And I think so far I know we've got 3, and this morning there's now a 4th unnamed Tory MP caught up in this betting scandal. But there's also, I think, one of Rishi's personal protection people got caught up in this. So there's a fair few people now being caught up in this, and it wouldn't shock me if we get more. Because if you've got 4, this isn't an accident. This is clearly some sort of pattern emerging here. How many more MPs? Should we bet how many more MPs are going to get caught up in this? Or should we say former Tory MPs are going to get caught up in this? Or should we call them by the correct terminology, how many more Tory candidates are going to get caught up in this? Oh. David Else, I'm going to try and put together a comprehensive list of Tory gaffes for this entire campaign. Could take me a while. Oh. Honestly, it's... Just what fun are we going to have? I mean, I'm planning to do an all-night stream for this. And I'm thinking, we've got some time to wait before the... before the results roll in. And I'm seriously thinking I should just do a segment, which will probably last us just a good hour, just re-going over all the Tory gaffes that we've had. And remember, we've still got 2 weeks. We've still got 2 weeks to go. Feels like this has been going on forever. It really does. But we've got 2 more weeks to go of this, guys. 2 more weeks. Feels like the scene in Total Recall in the airport. 2 weeks. 2 weeks to go. Oh. Go in the shade for the moment. Oh, good morning to Mike. Craig, good morning to you. Yeah, Patrick H. Tory going to Tory. Actually, apparently some of them are putting on multiple bets. Yeah, I think this is yet another scandal that's just going to unfold, because any Tory scandal that we've seen, well, over the past, couple of years has broken, and then it's just rolled on for like a week or so. Charles, good morning to you. Could UKIP and the Heritage Party split the loony vote in Clacton and stop Farage? Ooh. Maybe, I don't know. maybe we'll talk about this a bit later, but Clacton's a bit worrying. Clacton could be very worrying. But this could very, very much be a case where I think Farage might actually do it this time. I don't want him to do it. I think we all would prefer him to, lose. But I do worry that this might be the closest he ever gets to it. Oh. Being investigated. Anyway, let's crack on, shall we? Top of the Pops countdown to Tory manifesto. It raises some serious questions, this entire campaign. It really does. Like, what went wrong? And I've kept on saying it all this week whenever we've covered all these gaffes by the Tory campaign. Just what is going on? What is going on behind the scenes that is causing all this? Just what is going on? But like I say, this is one of the things we probably won't know until after the general election. And even then, well, we'll have to wait and see. Because I'll tell you what, what must be going on behind the scenes, if we think we're seeing chaos from the outside looking in, what must it be like from the inside looking out? It boggles the mind. It boggles the mind what kind of chaos and lunacy is going on behind the scenes. It really does. And I cannot wait for all the people working behind the scenes to start coming out and saying, oh yeah, this went down, this happened, oh, and this happened, and oh, by the way, this happened. And oh, by the way, why that happened was because of this. I can't wait. I can't wait for all that behind the scenes stuff to come out, because it must be chaos behind the scenes. But one of those moments where you really want to be a fly on the wall and you just want to look at it and go, what's going on? This is one of those moments. Like, what's going on in Downing Street is, we've heard the rumours, Sunak's gone rogue. So if he indeed has gone rogue, as we've been hearing, that does add a lot to what we've seen, probably. And then you've got CCHQ itself, which doesn't even seem to be in control. I mean, just so many questions I want answers to, and I know I'm not going to get them for at least a couple more months. But oh boy, what crazy and mad times must be going on behind the scenes. It really does boggle the mind, really does. Oh, hang on, we'll get to some shade and we'll read some chat. Yep. Let's play Better Elections 2024. Good morning, Gary Arnold. Good morning, Cathal OG. Gillian, good morning to you. Patrick H, yep, a Labour victory for Farage losing his seat for the eighth, Farage losing, sorry, for the eighth time, and Sunak losing his seat would make a perfect election. Absolutely, it would. Absolutely, that would be a perfect election. But Clacton, I do worry about. Farage facing scrutiny not on his terms over a prolonged period will not go well for him. Oh, it won't. It absolutely won't. You know, Farage, we know, is a kept man. There's a lot of, shall we say, big money interests of people giving him money. You know, so that, of course, if he becomes an MP, has to stop, because all that will go on his, you know, members' interests, and then people ask questions about that. They'll start to scrutinise that, and of course, you are right. He won't want those questions being asked. Clacton has always been worrying. That's true. Yeah, Craig, can't forget the biggest surprise of the week. The Tory actually had someone in charge of their campaign. I know. Oh, what a fantastic interview that would be. To try and just interview them. And I am going to seriously try. Whenever one of these people, you know, comes out, I am going to seriously try and get one of them. I've just got to. Like, my curiosity is just peaking beyond all possibility. I just want to speak to one of these people, like, behind the scenes. Like, maybe we'll be able to get like a low level one, but no, we'd have to really go and find out like who's behind the scenes and do some digging. But there must be some stories behind the scenes that we are not hearing yet, that we'll only hear like after the election, like what went on behind the scenes. But my curiosity is at maximum. Don, I don't mind Farage becoming an MP. It would just make him far more accountable than just being a heckling grifter. It will do. Like I say, pros, obviously that, but the con will be he'll be given a platform, and, well, you've seen, you know, George Galloway when he's at it. All he does is just spew stuff from the back benches, and that's what we'll get from Nigel Farage. But worryingly, if he does get in, and this is my theory, that if he does manage to get in, I think he is going to make a play to take a hostile takeover of the Tory party. I really think he will, because you've got people like Jacob Rees-Mogg, Suella Braverman, who are going, oh, actually, you know, it's all right to, you know, welcome Farage into whatever's left of the Tory party. Meanwhile, of course, if that does happen, that will add to the Tory civil wars that happen down the road. And oh my words, you know, I've been teasing you for what, 2-3 years about a Tory civil war? Well, when it happens, and it will happen after the general election, boy, is it going to be good. Boy, is it going to be good. Shane, did Sunak ignore all campaign advice from the start? Who knows? He might well have done. Just a few weeks ago, we did the video about, you know, were the rumours about Sunak going rogue, and of course his decision to call, you know, an early general election. That apparently went against, of course, the advice from Isaac Levido, his, you know, campaign advisor, the man who, you know, is the one giving him all this, you know, advice. But I doubt it. I really do doubt it. Or he's, as the other option goes, he's taking all these advisors around him and he's just trying to take all their advice. And because he's trying to take all the advice, none of it's working. So You know, this is one of the things we will not learn until after the general election. But learn it we will. That I can guarantee you. That I can absolutely guarantee you on that front. Yeah, Patrick H, whatever happened to Mr. Levido? He's supposed to be good at winning elections. Well, that reputation wasn't as good it was, but you know, this is certainly going to be a stain on that reputation. That is no doubt. It doesn't even appear that Rishi's listening to him. Gary Arnold, I just saw something on Sky News about Starmer being urged to join the custom union because he needs growth. Well, he does, and I think, as I've said before, you know, as much as I disagree with the strategy about talking about Brexit, you know, Starmer's going with, I think James O'Brien coined it best, the Ming Va strategy. That you are being as careful as you can to get into power. And then, as I've said many, many times, in the next parliament we are actually going to have good conversations about Brexit. And that will lead, I think, in the direction of things that we want. We're going to have better relations with Europe. I think we're going to end up, you know, negotiating, because that has always been my standpoint. We're going to end up negotiating, you know, not everything will be fixed, but maybe we'll alleviate some of the stuff. But not everything will be fixed, and we'll be in that point, as we've always said, where Starmer can go, this is Brexit, this is as best as it is ever going to be, do you still want this? And I think that's the direction we're headed in. I really do. It just feels like that's the direction we are headed in. Craig, the gambling thing is going to be an absolutely bleeding wound for Sunak for the rest of the campaign. There's apparently at least one other being investigated. Yeah, we just heard that this morning. There's a fourth unnamed, as of yet unnamed former Tory MP, or Tory candidate, shall we say. So we'll see what happens, but I think there's going to be more. You know, as I've just said a few moments ago, whenever these Tory scandals have happened in the past, they've rolled on for like 2 or 3 weeks, and this is the last thing you need to be happening during a general election campaign. And once again, this goes to show you why Rishi Sunak is such a bad leader. Because if he had any sense about him, the first thing he should do was suspend these guys, stop them from running. Might have salvaged his reputation a bit. You know, and you can't just be, oh, well, I'm angry at this happening. Okay, well, what are you going to do about it? But anyway, oh yes, we are entering the Barnsley Triangle. So, if we do lose connection, don't worry, we will return briefly, but, you know, infamous Barnsley Triangle black spot that this is. So, hopefully we'll make it through. If not, we'll see you on the other side of the triangle. Yeah, Nicholas, yeah, Sunak's campaign will make a great TV drama. God, I hope they do. God, I've said this since the start. This isn't a general election campaign. This is the live action version of the 4th season of The Thick of It. That's what it is. You know, Malcolm Tucker right now would be lying on the floor of 10 Downing Street, having, you know, palpitations at about how bad this campaign's going. But honestly, I don't think you could write as good as TV drama as what is happening behind the scenes, because you know what this needs to be? You know what this really needs to be? This needs to be like one of those docudramas where you have like the interviews of the people who were there, and then they have you know, actors playing the people and playing out how all this happened. That's what I think it needs to be. That seems to be the best way to have that. I wonder if Sunak's got a crafty bet of them coming third somewhere. Maybe. Hell, Wilkes, but he wasn't just angry, he was incredibly angry. Well, even more to the point, Helen, you know, he might have been incredibly angry, but what was he going to do about it, you know? If you're going to be that angry, you know, what are you going to do? And this is being his modus operandi throughout all the campaign. Something bad happens, or there's a Tory scandal erupts, and what does he do? Does nothing. You know, he's had plenty of opportunity to get rid of people like Braverman, Truss, had a lot of opportunity to get rid of Johnson if he wanted to, but he didn't. Just what's he do? That's not leadership in any way, but that's how he's tackled the whole thing throughout this entire campaign. But there's still 2 more weeks of this. Oh, morning. Still 2 more weeks of this. Feels like this has been going on, well, far longer than that. And we've said it at every single time we've done a Good Morning Walk. How worse could this get? You know, what's going to happen this week? You know, what's going to happen this week? And remember, probably one of the things that the Tory advisors, or at least the SPADs, were saying to try and calm Tory MPs' nerves about, you know, how bad they were doing in the polls was, well, don't worry, look at all those don't knows in your constituency, because they will vote for you. Bear in mind everything that's happened, this new scandal, and if you look at past decision making by people who are like that, who are like, well, I'm a don't know voter, they make their decision mostly in the last 2 weeks of a general election. How do you think they're going to end up voting? Because it's probably not going to be with Rishi Sunak or Conservative. That's for sure. Oh, hang on a second, my laces have come undone. Oop. There we go. I'm trying my walking. Oh, damn it! Trying my walking boots today. I've taken my wellies off. Although I should have really worn my shorts today, because it is actually quite good weather today. Little. There we go. Okay. Let's go through here and we'll catch up with the chat. Craig, these are all connected Tories. I'm pretty sure that they are running, all running in safe seats, and Sunak probably is burned all his political capital to get there. Suspending them is now risking some of their winnables. Yeah, that's true. That's true. If they are in a safe seat, it is true. But again, we've seen Tory HQ has said, we are now only going to spend resources, and you can have activists if you've got a majority of 20,000 plus, or if you're a cabinet minister, or Rishi Sunak. They have now switched from the 80-20 strategy to full-blown defensive, to which I can guarantee you many Tory candidates and former Tory MPs are like, well, thanks for that. I've lost my seat, which, again, is going to have a big impact on the campaign. Big impact on the campaign. It does look like they want to lose at the moment. Yep. Jane Lockwood, good morning to you. Do you realise that every witness is going to want full witness protection treatment? Shadowy silhouettes and voice changes. They couldn't release just one last abuse of power with the betting scandal. Yep. Starmer needs to put PR into the 2029 manifesto. Absolutely. I mean, that's what a big part of the Stop the Tories is about. Getting that sort of political power, working again within Labour, everything that I've been talking about. Because again, once you are working within the party that is in power, that gives your movement a lot of boost and a lot of stuff to get stuff done with. So that's the plan. That's the plan. Helen, he was on so bad on Question Time. It was like the entire through stage event in workplaces had all been genuine, and he couldn't deal with real people. Been something we've known for quite a while. Tory MPs have been worried about that. Bakura, do you think the Lib Dems will overtake the Tories as the opposition party? God, I hope so, Bakura. It's a long shot. It really is a long shot, but there are some polls which do show it happening. So we'll see. We'll see. I hope it happens. I do hope it happens. But again, it's not a sure thing. It's not a sure thing, but it would be fantastic if that did happen, because that would remove even more power from them. Charles Stanhope, first thing Labour should do is introduce legislation to force a by-election if an MP changes parties. That could cause some Farage issues. I get you. I'll let you pun there. And the Tory press will have a major tantrum. Oh, it will be. Will they do it? I don't know. I've said before about local councillors changing seats. It should happen for them as well. So I do agree with you on that. I do agree, but it's, priorities. And as much as we would like to see some of the stuff, I think Starmer's got a lot bigger priorities than doing that. But no, I do agree with you on that. I do agree. Harvey Brown, if you were a betting man or a woman, I mean a Tory campaign manager's wife, how many seats will Labour win by? I don't know. That would be an ecumenical question. One Angry Pagan, good morning to you. Labour want to sort of force the buoy 2 account. I don't know. For climate change. All right. Yes. Definitely something that they need to do. I think climate change in particular, environment, is going to be a big factor in the next parliament. A big factor. Sequel to the Crown, the Tory years. Possibly. Quite possible. Quite probable, to be honest. With that. Absolutely. Oh, Bank of England. Oh. Hang on, being swarmed by horses. Sorry, boys. Nothing for you. They parade on by. There are, again, some new ponies out here. Hang on. Just navigate my way through. Not only these ponies, but the mud. Oh, there we go. Oop, there we go. Like that one. That one's definitely new. You can just tell by how small he is. But no, it does seem that a lot of these are also going to be popping soon by the looks of it. So there's going to be a lot of new foals in the next couple of weeks by the looks of some of those ponies there. Do you think the boss of Ladbrokes is a big Tory? Who knows? Mike, can Labour go after offshore accounts like the EU wants to do? Well, they've got the big enough majority to do it, and it would be, it would be a lot of money. And I think Rachel Reeves is going to be in a position where she's Chancellor and she's going to look at where all the money is and what to do. And I think she is going to go after every piece of that she can possibly get. I really think she will do. Because I think she's going to be after as much tax as she can so that Labour can fulfil on some of its plans and manifesto stuff. But also you're going to have to be careful about how much she borrows as well. Because, well, after we saw with what happened with Liz Truss, the markets can have a very negative reaction depending on how much you want to borrow. Oh yes, I don't know if you saw let's just ignore Farage for the next 2 weeks. Would be nice. But I can guarantee you he's going to turn up in my hometown again for the next couple of weeks. That's a guarantee, unfortunately. In England, Labour replaced the business rate system. Again, we'll wait to see what they go and replace it with for a fairer system. That will be it'll be interesting to see sort of what they go through and follow through on that. Banner Harpers, they need to make it clear that... Hang on. This is the problem when you're walking on an uneven path and trying to read the chat at the same time. They need to make it clear that government spending is a force multiplier, better public health and better education. Exactly. They really do need to get that that the government itself can be an amazing investor. And there's, I don't know how many times I've banged on about it, but Paint Your Town Red is exactly that. Using your own local councils, quite sizable in some cases, purchasing budget to buy locally first to help the local economy. He's in mine tomorrow. Oh, £5 to get in. Not surprised. Not surprised. Nicholas Pestle, will the pound go up in value once we have a competent government? Probably not straight away. You know, probably not straight away. You know, Labour, honestly, they will have a lot to prove. You know, Starmer's right that they do have to deliver, and deliver. So they will have a lot to prove, you know, when they start, but it's not going to be easy for them. You know, anyone thinking that, you know, change is going to come instantly from getting the Labour government in, don't worry, it's going to be good having a different government in, certainly a more competent one, as we said. But then it's, how do they use that power? How do they go about, you know, making the change, etc., that they want to do? So we've just got to wait and see what happens there on that front. But it's not going to be instantaneous. But we've got a lot of good signs. You know, Labour's talking about, you know, long-term planning. You know, not just short-term sticking plasters. So that will be certainly something that we haven't had for a while. You know, a government that is actually thinking about long-term planning. My God, what a novel concept. Especially when you compare it to the past couple of governments that we've had. Oh, but one of the things that I certainly do want to see is what the industrial strategy is going to be. I really want to see that. I'm hoping maybe we'll see it appear either this week or next week, but I think that is going to be a really big sort of showcase peace event for Labour when they do release that. If not, they'll release it, you know, when they get in power. You know, maybe that is what Ed Miliband's waiting for, to get into the power so that he can see essentially what's there. So it is going to be, I think, an interesting transitionary period when we're going to go into. But things are going to take a while to get better. You know, there's every possibility, unfortunately, things might get worse before they get better. Hopefully not, but, you know, what is it? Prepare for the worst, etc. I can't remember how it goes now. It's something they're going to have to watch out for, especially for any post-Tory traps. That's one thing that you've heard some people talk about, that there's some Tory traps been laid, but I'll see what happens. Dan, as well as having GB Energy, I think we should also have a GB Money, a bank where Brits can own national debt, and we get some interest in our savings. Again, in practice, I can't disagree with that. Again, sounds a good idea. We'll have to see. Heckle Farage, please. I'll try to, but you know, they don't publish when he's coming. Yeah. Mike Fletcher, so we're 25th out of 26 for hospital beds in Europe. Nobody wants to sort social care, with the bed blocking now a real problem. Just how is the NHS going to move forward? potentially it's going to be sort of funding. I think there's a lot of stuff that needs doing, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens under Labour. But I think we've got every reason to think that things will go in sort of a better direction. I know a lot of people have problems with West Streeting. That's fine. I understand the concerns, but hey, we'll see what happens. And I think you are going to have, as I've said before, a very progressive majority, I think, form, certainly within Labour, that will, I think, push a lot of progressive policies and things like that in the party. Oh, hang on, I'm going to sneeze. Oh no, I'm not. Yeah, you are right. National Wealth Fund. That'll be a good idea to bring in. But it's just a lot of the stuff, and it's I think for the first 2 years, I think it's going to be very, very difficult. I think you've got to have them deal with the problems that not only we're facing now, but even potential problems. I mean, you saw the list of things that Sue Gray posted about, of problems that might happen when they sort of first come into power. I think she's right. I think there are going to be a lot of problems that rear their heads, and they are going to be a very, very bad inheritance from 14 years of Tory government, and they've got to sort it out. And part of that thing will be the competence to, sort it out and tackle these problems when they arise. But it's not going to be easy. Given the Tories aren't any good at long-term planning, I'd be surprised if they laid any good traps for Labour. They have been appointing some people to positions. I know the new head of DEFRA is a very, very much Tory, and I think they appointed someone as well like that too. Like I said, I think they appointed someone else like that to the housing board as well that they've got. So yeah, they've appointed like over 100 people to these sort of lingering boards that they have. That's something that's gone unreported, but we'll see if Labour gets rid of them or not. But they could, shall we say, be positioned to be blockers or be naysayers on Labour policy. So we'll see what happens there. Do we think lower inflation now will give Labour more leeway? Yes, it will. It will, absolutely. And I think, like I say, when we get Rachel Reeves in, I think that will certainly give her a lot more leeway to do stuff. Because obviously the lower inflation is, the better rate you get borrowing at. So that means then Labour can borrow a bit more money to do sort of invest in a lot of stuff. And one of the things I'm sort of disappointed, but I want to see HS2 back. I really, really do want to see HS2 back. It really needs building, because if not, you are just asking for years and decades more transport trouble. And I hope maybe Andy Burnham and I can't remember the name now, who won the Birmingham mayoralship. I can't remember the name. I hope they really put pressure on Starmer to say, hey, look, if you want to get the economy moving, if you want to get the economy going, building something like HS2, which will be a massive boost to the UK economy, especially in the north, will be a good long-term investment. So it's just making that case. I'm hoping that we can, get something like that done. Craig, a big part of the current issue comes down to uncoordinated approaches. You need to fix several things together, i.e. waiting lists, care, productivity, all tying together, and we need an overall lead. Exactly. I think that's one of the good points I think we're going to have. I think you're going to have very much a cabinet that is of one mind and does want to make things better and knows that they are going to have to sort of really come together and improve on all of these things. But we'll see. We shall see what happens. Yeah. Oh, exactly. Those two scandals, the post office and of course contaminated blood, exactly. I mean, Labour has to have problems solved for that. I think that's something that Sue Gray, I think, had on her list as well, but it's something that needs sorting. Of course, the post office is now under new ownership. I've seen a lot of people complain about, the Czech guy taking it over, but you look at a lot of postal services in Europe, and they are sort of either they are nationalised, or they are sort of this very interesting mix of private and public ownership. And again, I'm sure people on the continent will agree or disagree with me, but how is your post, on the continent in your countries? Do you even think about it? Is it a problem? Prices, etc. I'd actually be interested to know what people think to their post office stuff. Cavalan 100, good morning to you. Indeed, like button, smash it. Yes, so do take that. Maglev, oh, I don't know. Go watch Gareth Dennis on that. Maglev was never the great promise I think people hoped it would be. Richard Parker, that's it. Thank you very much. Oh, hang on, let's try and squeeze through here. This is one. This is one point where I'm actually glad I've got my jeans on instead of my shorts. Otherwise, I don't think I'd have made it through there. Oop. I think they've got maglev in Germany. Isn't it Royal Mail and the Post Office nationally owned? I can't remember now. But even if it is, it would be... again, we'll see what happens with this new owner. Who knows? Maybe things will improve. But I've never used the Czech post office system, so who knows? Maybe things will improve. Maybe they'll get worse. Maybe this will now force Labour to sort of, renationalise the post office. But again, we'll have to see what happens. It's we'll have to see. Oh, stakeholders, dear boy, how could it possibly improve? Well, that is true. That is true, Larry. But just because something is privately owned doesn't mean, it's the worst thing since sliced bread. But, we'll have to see. we'll have to see. Circular economies. So the whole idea, of course, is that a circular economy is that everything supports. It is just a big circle. So something is made here or brought in here, sold here, and the whole idea is its own internal sort of ecosystem, which, bear in mind, is a considerable change from where we've had the Tory idea of global Britain, where we import everything and, you know, that solves all our problems. But you've also, as I sort of said, got to think about jobs here. What goes on here? There's always conditions and targets for privatised companies. They just haven't been enforced by the Tories. Well, yeah, that's true again. Larry the Cat, not done very much since being sold off. Like every other privatised utility, nothing works properly and costs far too much. Yep. I think it's... hopefully you can hear me over the wind. Oh, there we go. It's a bit windy. Yeah, like I say, there's a lot of, renationalisation. I think I do agree. Would like to sort of re-see. I think rail, even though Labour aren't initially, of course, bringing everything back under public ownership, we are seeing these contracts, once they end, falling back under sort of public ownership. So if you want to, if you remember, we had the discussion with the guy from, We Own It, when we had him on a couple of days ago. If you wanted to do sort of, nationalisation cheaply and sort of save some money, that's one way of bringing sort of those rail companies back in. Of course, there's still the issue of the, what do they call it now? The trains themselves, not the freight. Can't remember now. It's completely lost in my mind. Damn it, what do they call it? Rolling stock, that's it. Thank you very much, Craig. That's it. Thank you very much for saving me. I've completely forgotten what they called then. But yeah, rolling stock companies. That is an issue that we'll have to solve, because Britain does need to own its own sort of rolling stock. We might re-own the sort of the train companies themselves and but the trains themselves we won't actually own, because those will be owned by the rolling stock companies. But that's something you could essentially phase out over time. And I think, transport in itself is really going to be, I think, a big issue, especially up in the north. Really up in the north. Oh, David, you're out. Happy Pride. If you're going to a Pride event soon or anything like that, then happy Pride. But I think transport is going to be a really big issue. I mean, especially when you've got all the northern mayors really sort of bringing back public ownership of bus services, you know, in Manchester, where it's already kicking off. In South Yorkshire, we're bringing sort of Supertram back under sort of public ownership, and sort of, again, the promise to sort of expand Supertram across South Yorkshire, which really needs to be done, quite frankly. I think transport is going to be a big thing, and if Labour do something about that, I think a big investment in it, you know, think about, you know, interconnected transport systems, because that's what we need, a big, you know, transport strategy for the UK. You know, Labour really thinking, how do you move, you know, people from one location to another to add value to the economy? Because that's what transport does, what it enables people to do. So if we can solve that, that would be fantastic. All transport should be nationalised. Well, again, hey, maybe we'll end up going there. maybe we'll end up going there. Does certainly seem like we're going in that direction. Breakfast in America being nationalised. Oh. But it's you know, I think environmental issues certainly going to be a big problem. I think Labour need to really tackle and have a look at that. I think investing in, you know, the green economy, you know, Chris Skidmore, even though he's a Tory, you know, and I stressed this in my video that I did yesterday, disagree with him probably on everything else, but I'll tell you what, when it comes to doing net zero and the business promises and the potential that net zero can add to the economy, yeah, he gets that right. He gets that very, very right. Like I say, him now saying, you know, he's going to vote Labour, that's a big problem for Rishi Sunak. Yeah, Chris Skidmore. Yeah, like I say, I don't agree with him on everything. But I've said this before, there are green Tories, they do exist, and they do actually get the need to move. The need to move over to a green economy, over to, like, you know, invest in green technologies and green energy and green industry. It just, unfortunately, they were a really tiny demographic within the Tory party. But who knows, maybe they'll go and have to find a new home. Like I say, I think during the Tory wars, green Tories are going to have a very, very minor part to play in it. A very minor part to play in the Tory wars to come. God, that would be wonderful, wouldn't it? The EU developing a transport card for €30 a month that can take you on a train and transport all over Europe. God, yeah. That would be fantastic. That would be generally fantastic. And look, Sunak's his own biggest problem. Yeah, that's true. Actually, our first morning walk with the Labour government in power will be wonderful. Well, a lot of people will be celebrating that night, so who knows? I'm certainly not going to be up. Like I say, I'm certainly not going to be up. Probably early in the morning for a morning walk like this. I don't know, we'll see. Who knows? Maybe we'll just continue it over. Maybe we'll stop streaming and just go straight into a good morning walk. Oh. In that moment is when Brexiteers will finally regret Brexit. Hey, it's already happening. We're seeing it in the polls. Yeah, an afternoon stroll. An afternoon stroll indeed. But yes, anyway, we are at the end of a good morning walk. Unfortunately, it's become a bit overclouded since then. It was absolutely, cracking Six Flags a few moments ago, as we say in Yorkshire. But yes, do go out and enjoy the rest of your weekend. And yeah, go out and enjoy yourself over these. So, as always, go out and enjoy yourselves. Like I say, we've got 2 weeks left. Honestly, feels like feels like this has been going on a month. But as always, have fun. Go out and enjoy yourself. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And yeah, we'll see what disaster Sunak is facing next week. But as always, thank you very much, of course, and we'll see you all next time.